Hi everyone! Today I would like to walk you through the entire process of how to go from reference photo to finished illustration. A common problem most of us have is we have beautiful line work, but somehow after we color it, either the color doesn't look harmonious or the lighting is off and we end up ruining the whole drawing. So here are my approaches towards a less error-prone illustration. I will explain in detail one by one. Step number 1. Gather references and develop ideas. I usually take a lot of reference photos when I travel, and these are some examples. Other than using your own photos for reference, you can also use reference books. For example, this is one of my favorite character reference books. Now we've covered background reference and character reference. One more reference that you will find very useful is color reference. You should be able to find a lot of beautiful color palette inspirations on Pinterest. Okay, now let's move on to step number 2, drafting on iPad. The reason I suggest you to draft on a digital device instead of directly on a watercolor paper is because most high-quality watercolor paper are pretty delicate. Going back and forth too much with pencil and eraser might ruin the paper texture. In my case, I usually do lots of layering when I color, so I definitely want to minimize any potential damages to the paper surface. Okay, now let's move to the next step, color testing. This is the fun part where I get to experiment different color palettes and different lighting and shading effects. So here is a quick time-lapse of my color testing. After color testing, we can finally move on to the physical painting, transferring lines onto watercolor paper. I first use regular office paper to print out the lines and place it on a lightbox. I then place my watercolor paper on top and use a pencil to trace the lines. This way I can make sure all lines are final and therefore protecting the watercolor paper surface as much as possible. Now I have a clean pencil outline of my illustration. It's time to start inking it. After inking, I wait for the lines to dry and clean the rest of the pencil lines with eraser, mini vacuum, and a brush at the end. The reason I use these extra cleaning tools is because I don't want to touch the paper with my fingers. This is kind of important if you want your painting to last for lots of years. Of course, I'm going a little bit extreme here. This is just my personal approach, and you don't have to clean it this way. The next part is my favorite, the coloring part. I will leave you in peace to enjoy the video, and I will meet you at the end. At this point, the illustration drawing is finished, but that's not the end of the illustration cycle yet. The very last step is to scan it and edit it. I will dedicate a separate video to walk you through my process of scanning and editing, so I will just keep it simple here. Thank you so much for staying with me till the end. These are all my personal approaches I've been using for years. I hope this video is helpful, and in my next tutorial video, I will talk about scanning and digital editing. See you in the next one!